Dave was the kind of guy who could make friends with anyone. Living in a cozy neighborhood filled with colorful houses and friendly faces, he loved spending time outdoors, tending to his garden, and chatting with neighbors. He took pride in his home, keeping it neat and welcoming. Each Saturday morning, you could find him mowing his lawn or washing his car while enjoying the warm sun and fresh air. With a relaxed attitude, Dave appreciated the little things in life. He often hosted weekend barbecues, inviting friends and family over to enjoy good food and laughter. His home was known for its bright flower beds and cheerful decorations, making it stand out in the best way possible. However, like any neighborhood, there were rules set by the Homeowners Association, HOA, to maintain a certain look and feel. While Dave usually didn't mind these guidelines, he sometimes found them a bit unnecessary. After all, everyone had their own style. He loved his bins, simple, functional, and practical, just like him. Little did he know that one of his neighbors had other opinions about those bins, and soon, their laid-back atmosphere would be tested in a way he never expected. In this vibrant neighborhood, the Homeowners Association, HOA, played a vital role in maintaining order and appearance. Established to ensure that the homes retained their charm, the HOA had rules about everything from fence heights to paint colors. Neighbors were expected to follow these guidelines to create a cohesive look, which many appreciated, while others found them a bit stifling. The HOA held regular meetings where members discussed community issues and concerns, and one of the hot topics was the appearance of trash bins. While Dave thought his bins were just functional and practical, the HOA had a different view. They believed that unsightly bins tarnished the neighborhood's aesthetic when visible from the street, prompting neighbors to report any violations. After receiving a complaint about his bins, Dave was taken aback, especially since he felt that his home added character to the area. Behind every rule, there was Karen, the self-appointed enforcer of HOA standards. She had a keen eye for spotting anything she felt disrupted the neighborhood's harmony. In her mind, perfectly manicured lawns and polished exteriors did not include visible bins, which explains why she would soon become a key player in this unfolding story of creativity and community spirit. One sunny afternoon, as Dave was enjoying a cold drink on his porch, he noticed a crisp envelope sticking out of his mailbox. Curious, he opened it to find a letter from the HOA, elegantly formatted but with a tone that struck him as oddly condescending. The carefully chosen words felt more like a gentle reprimand than a friendly reminder. "Dear homeowner," it began, almost cheerfully, before transitioning into a rather pointed complaint. It stated that his trash bins, while functional, were deemed unsightly and visible from the street, something that was apparently unacceptable in their quest for neighborhood perfection. The letter continued, suggesting that he take immediate steps to rectify the situation, though it couched its criticism in polite language. As Dave read on, he couldn't help but notice the passive-aggressive undertones. Phrases like, "We appreciate your cooperation in maintaining harmony," and "We trust you will understand our concern for aesthetics," felt more like thinly veiled jabs than genuine concern. The closing line delicately hinted at the possibility of further action if the issue wasn't resolved, leaving Dave feeling both frustrated and amused by the HOA's approach. Little did he know, this letter would inspire him to respond in a way no one saw coming. As Dave pondered the letter from the HOA, he couldn't shake the feeling of familiarity with the name behind it, Karen. She was known throughout the neighborhood for her strict adherence to the HOA rules, often taking it upon herself to enforce them with an iron fist. Her reputation as a self-appointed gatekeeper of community standards preceded her, and many neighbors whispered about her unyielding nature. Karen had filed complaints in the past over even minor infractions. She once took issue with a neighbor's garden gnome, claiming it disrupted the curb appeal of the entire block. For another family, she insisted their lawn needed to be mowed on more than one occasion until they finally installed a fancy sprinkler system, hoping to appease her watchful eye. Whenever issues arose, residents braced themselves for Karen's opinion, which rarely wavered from her strict ideals. As someone who thrived on control, her motivation was often questioned. Did she truly care about the neighborhood's appearance, or was it simply a reflection of her own personality? Now that he knew Karen was behind his complaint, Dave couldn't help but feel a mix of frustration and determination. Her critical eye had provoked something inside him, and he began to plot a response that would not only address her complaint but also convey his own flair for creativity. As Dave sat on his porch, the letter still clutched in his hand, he couldn't help but chuckle at the absurdity of it all. Karen's need for control over what he considered mundane aspects of his property seemed almost comical. He imagined her peering through her curtains, clipboard in hand, ready to jot down her latest infraction. The more he thought about it, the more he found her obsession funny yet infuriating. Frustration bubbled within him. How could someone care so much about trash bins? To him, they were just bins, practical and necessary for everyday living. Yet to Karen, they had morphed into an eyesore that threatened the entire neighborhood's integrity. He felt a surge of rebellious energy. Why should he let her dictate how he managed his own home? Amusement danced alongside irritation as he realized that this complaint was not just about aesthetics, it was a reflection of Karen's personality and her need to assert dominance. Instead of feeling defeated by her critique, Dave suddenly felt inspired. What if he turned the tables on Karen? The idea of transforming his seemingly ordinary bins into something colorful and attention-grabbing sparked a mischievous grin on his face. This was the moment where creativity would triumph over conformity. With a newfound sense of determination, Dave headed to the local craft store the next day, eager to gather supplies for his creative project. He wandered the aisles, picking up neon paint in bright pinks, greens, and yellows that would surely catch the eye of anyone passing by. Glitter was a must, adding that perfect touch of sparkle and flair. After all, if he was going to make a statement, he wanted it to be unforgettable. Once home, he rolled up his sleeves and set to work in his driveway. The sun shone brightly as he transformed his ordinary trash bin into a canvas. With each stroke of neon paint, Dave felt lighter and more liberated. He painted swirling patterns and bold designs that reflected his personality, a mix of humor and mischievousness. After the paint dried, he carefully added the finishing touch, the words, "Karen's favorite trash," in big, bold letters across the front. It was playful yet pointed, a cheeky nod to the very complaint that had sparked this transformation. As he stepped back to admire his work, laughter bubbled up inside him. This was no longer just a bin, it was a declaration of independence from Karen's control. Excited about the attention it would bring, Dave couldn't wait for his neighbors to see his artistic rebellion. After he finished painting the vibrant swirls and patterns on his trash bin, Dave took a moment to consider how to make the final touch truly memorable. He wanted to ensure that everyone who passed by would understand the playful jab at Karen's complaint. With a deep breath, he picked up a large brush and dipped it into a bold, neon pink paint. As he began to paint Karen's favorite trash, each stroke felt like an act of defiance and creativity. He made the letters big and playful, ensuring they would stand out from across the street. The words danced across the front of the bin in curvy lettering, filled with sparkles that glimmered whenever sunlight hit them. It was like the bin itself had come alive. With each letter he painted, Dave imagined Karen's reaction, picturing her shocked face as she saw her own name emblazoned on what she deemed an eyesore. It was a cheerful rebellion against her strict nature and a statement that he wouldn't let her dictate his choices. Once finished, he took a step back and admired his handiwork, feeling a rush of excitement about the attention it would surely draw. This was more than just a decorated trash bin, it was a symbol of laughter, freedom, and community spirit that invited others to join in on the fun. As word spread around the neighborhood about Dave's brightly painted trash bin, curiosity piqued among his neighbors. On their daily walks, families stopped, pointing and laughing at the colorful spectacle. Kids especially found it hilarious, giggling as they shouted, "Look at Karen's favorite trash." Parents joined in the fun, snapping pictures with their phones to capture the moment of community joy. Within hours, social media exploded with posts featuring Dave's colorful bin. Neighbors shared selfies in front of it, using hashtags like #TrashArt and #KarenGetsOwned. The once mundane trash bin had morphed into a local icon, drawing attention not just for its appearance but for the bold statement it made about standing up to overly strict rules. Some neighbors approached Dave to express their admiration and support. They praised his creativity and sense of humor, happy that someone finally stood up against Karen's relentless enforcement of the HOA's stringent standards. Laughter echoed down the street as neighbors dared each other to make their own colorful creations or add cheeky messages to their bins. The atmosphere shifted as people gathered around Dave's bin, discussing neighborhood quirks and how it had become a source of lightheartedness. This simple act of artistic rebellion brought everyone closer, transforming Karen's complaint into a celebration of community spirit, and turning Dave into an unexpected neighborhood hero. As days went by, Dave's decorated trash bin became more than just a quirky addition to his property, it evolved into a beloved local attraction. Families strolled by with their children, drawn in by the bright neon colors and the whimsical message. Kids squealed with delight, racing toward the bin to see the artwork up close, often asking for their parents to snap photos of them posing next to it. On weekends, groups of children could be seen gathering around the bin, giggling and chatting about their favorite colors while trying to mimic the swirling patterns he had painted. Parents took turns capturing these joyful moments, sharing the photos on local community boards and social media, which only fueled the excitement further. Neighbors began to make it a routine to stop by Dave's house during their evening walks, intrigued by the spontaneous joy the bin brought. They brought along their own craft supplies, discussing ideas for decorating their trash bins as well, inspired by Dave's fearless creativity. This unexpected fountain of fun transformed the neighborhood dynamic. Conversations flourished as families bonded over their shared inspiration, and soon, the area was buzzing with laughter and camaraderie. In many ways, Dave's colorful creation united the neighborhood, turning an ordinary trash bin into a symbol of creativity and community spirit that would leave a lasting impression on everyone who came by. As the buzz around Dave's colorful trash bin grew, social media became a powerful tool in amplifying its charm. Neighbors began sharing photos of the bin on various platforms, each post capturing the vibrant colors and cheeky message. They tagged their friends and family, inviting them to come see the spectacle in person. With hashtags like hashtag Karen's favorite trash and hashtag trashart, the bin quickly gained traction online, transforming it into a meme phenomenon. Local community groups exploded with engagement as people shared their favorite pictures, adding witty captions and comments that added to the fun. Memes featuring Dave's bin started popping up, often paired with humorous text about standing up to strict neighbors or celebrating creativity in everyday life. The playful spirit surrounding the bin resonated with many who felt similarly constrained by rules. Soon, news outlets caught wind of this quirky story, leading to articles highlighting Dave's artistic rebellion against Karen's complaint. Interviews with families who visited his home revealed how the bin had become a symbol of joy and creativity in a sometimes overly controlled environment. Dave's trash bin transformed from an ordinary object into a beloved icon that represented freedom of expression. It not only united the neighborhood but also sparked conversations across social media platforms about embracing individuality and challenging rigid norms with humor and creativity. Karen first noticed the buzz about Dave's trash bin when she overheard a group of neighbors laughing as they walked by her house. Curiosity piqued, she peeked through her curtains to see families gathered around, snapping pictures and pointing at the colorful spectacle. The sight made her stomach churn. How could a simple complaint have spiraled into this? The very bin she had deemed unsightly had become a source of neighborhood joy, and she felt a wave of embarrassment wash over her. As days passed and the memes circulated online, Karen's discomfort grew. She scrolled through social media, grimacing at the playful jabs aimed at her strict nature. Comments like, "Karen's favorite trash is now my favorite spot," filled her feed, turning her name into a punchline she never intended to be part of. Each notification felt like another reminder of how her complaint had backfired spectacularly. Frustrated and humiliated, Karen tried to brush it off by insisting to others that she only wanted to maintain neighborhood standards. Yet, deep down, she couldn't shake the feeling that her need for control had turned into a laughingstock. On her morning walks, she would pass by Dave's house, seeing families gather with smiles and laughter, and realize how her rigid approach had not only backfired but had also led to a vibrant celebration of community spirit she never anticipated. As the days passed, the lightheartedness around Dave's trash bin began to transform the neighborhood in unexpected ways. Neighbors started stopping to chat, gathering around the colorful spectacle to share jokes and laughter. A simple walk along the street turned into a social event, with families pausing at the bin to take photos and discuss their favorite designs. The atmosphere shifted from one of quiet formality to a bustling sense of community. New friendships bloomed as people bonded over their shared amusement. Neighbors who had previously only exchanged polite nods now found themselves in animated discussions about creativity and self-expression. Some even proposed organizing a neighborhood art contest, inspired by Dave's initiative. Soon after, a trash bin art day was planned, where every resident was encouraged to decorate their bins, turning a mundane chore into a colorful celebration. Children eagerly joined in the fun, swapping ideas and materials as they painted their own bins with vibrant colors and playful messages. This collaborative spirit spread beyond just trash bins. Spontaneous gatherings began sprouting up for barbecues, potlucks, and movie nights, rekindling connections among families that had grown distant. Dave's artistic rebellion not only changed his trash bin but also sparked a revelry that brought neighbors together, creating an unbreakable bond founded on laughter, creativity, and a newfound appreciation for the joy that comes from embracing individuality within the community. With the overwhelming positive response surrounding Dave's artistic revolution, the Homeowners Association found itself at a crossroads. Their usual strict standards, aimed at maintaining uniformity, began to feel outdated in light of the vibrant community spirit that had blossomed. During a meeting, members discussed the unexpected joy and bonding they witnessed among residents, all sparked by an ordinary trash bin. Karen, still feeling the sting of embarrassment from her initial complaint, reluctantly recognized that perhaps it was time to embrace a more flexible approach. As laughter and creativity filled the streets, she couldn't help but feel a twinge of regret for stifling individuality and expression in their neighborhood. After much deliberation, the HOA decided to relax some of its more rigid rules, allowing families to decorate their bins creatively without fear of reprimand. This decision was met with enthusiastic cheers from the community. Residents appreciated the HOA's willingness to adapt and acknowledged that these new rules would foster a more inclusive atmosphere. In response, families rolled up their sleeves, ready to showcase their own unique styles through their bins. What began as a complaint about aesthetics had turned into a heartwarming example of community resilience and creativity. Together, they celebrated this newfound freedom, proving that sometimes laughter and artistry are the best ways to build connections among neighbors, an outcome nobody saw coming. As the neighborhood settled into this new chapter, it became clear that what started as a simple complaint had blossomed into something extraordinary. Dave's colorful trash bin stood not just as an artistic expression but as a beacon of community spirit and creativity. Families gathered for impromptu celebrations, and laughter filled the streets as people embraced the newfound freedom to express themselves. Neighbors who once felt constrained by rigid rules now felt empowered to showcase their unique personalities. The Trash Bin Art Day turned into an annual event, where families presented their artistic creations and shared stories about their designs. It fostered connections, allowing friendships to flourish among residents who realized they had more in common than just their addresses. Karen, witnessing the transformation around her, found herself reflecting on the negative impact of her strict adherence to the rules. Seeing joy on every corner, she understood that creativity could coexist with community standards in a way that allowed individuality to shine. Eventually, she joined in the celebration, contributing her own decorated bin, which surprisingly garnered admiration and even a few laughs. In the end, the neighborhood emerged stronger and more united than ever, proving that even small actions can lead to big changes. Through laughter and artistry, they discovered a vibrant tapestry of community life woven together by understanding and creativity, an outcome that everyone would cherish for years to come.